To all shall see these presents greetings. Welcome back to Ruckdog Gaming and Captain of Industry. Well, if you remember from last time, we had just kind of gotten over the hump of figuring out our fuel shortage. And now we're going to be moving on to try and expand our production. And hopefully we'll be able to keep getting better and better technology as we continue our research projects here. So right now, we do not have research selected, so it's time to pick something new. And some good stuff here. I think for now, I'm going to stick with irrigated farms, because if we're going to expand our population by much more, we're going to want to be able to increase our food production, and irrigated farms will definitely help us with that. So we'll go ahead and get that started. And then before I hit play, let's just sort of take a little overview of where we're at. So we are doing some basic water production here to help with our Unity by making sure that we have some fresh water for our population to drink. We are paused on our beacon right now because we have a full population. We don't really need too many more folks, and we have 60 workers available, so we've got a little bit of slack to take up there. And right now, I still have some of my production buildings paused because I'm keeping a close eye on my fuel supply here, make sure I don't run out of fuel. We've just recently fired back up our copper production. Now, those of you that recall from last video as well, one of the next big things we need to start working on here is coming up with some of concrete production. And in order to get concrete production going, right, we're going to need to get some sand, okay? And we're also going to need to get some more water. And then we also have an improved assembly of building that we can use once we get our concrete going. That's obviously going to take some electricity, but now that we've got a stable source of fuel, that shouldn't be too bad, right? So big picture-wise, the thing we're going to be trying to get going here is sand collection, maybe some increased water production, and then getting going on concrete. Let's go ahead and play and start getting that going here. So sand is going to require another mining tower, I believe. So let's go ahead and get that going. So I actually need to get a mining control tower. Here we go. Get that building. Great. Okay. We are probably going to need to go ahead and order up another excavator or so here. Let's see how we're doing. We've got some of our copper here. We got this going pretty well here. It looks like we can afford to assign a couple more trucks to our coal. That's one thing that we are definitely going to need to improve our distribution of is coal. So we'll work on that, putting a few more trucks on that for now. All right, here we go. So that's looking good. Next thing we're going to need to do there is assign our mining area for that. So let's go ahead and get that going there for sand. Now that we've got sand going, we're going to need to start getting concrete put together. So let's see here. Where would be a good place to put down some concrete? Well, let's go ahead and start seeing about getting this put up here. So we can see we've got inputs for sand and input for water. So what I think we probably want to do is build a sand storage here. And then we'll also want to build a fluid storage And we'll probably also need to set up our own water collection for this. Now, this is all going to take a little while to come to fruition here, just because I build one there. Actually, you know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that somewhere else. I also realize I have this one backwards from where I want it. All right, so here we go. I want to leave some space to build up that way. So let's go ahead and move this up a little bit. Yeah, all right, and then go ahead and get our fluid storage here. Rotate that around, there we go. All right, that's looking pretty good. All right, so now let's check in on our excavator. Yeah, that's it, iron. We need to make sure our iron is going full tilt here. So that's working, looks like that's working. Go ahead and turn off copper just so nothing gets confused here. All right. That should keep us humming along here for a minute. I'm going to say that for now we can probably take one of these excavators off the coal and go ahead and send him up here. And then of course we need to put a couple trucks on there as well. And we'll see if that allows us to get mobilized on our sand just that much quicker. How's everybody doing over here? Full output. Oh, wow, okay. So it looks like we are doing quite well as far as our fuel supplies go. So we've definitely cracked that nut for the moment. Let's go ahead and get some of our transport built in here. So far, these are humming along just fine. We're inching up on our iron plates. There we go. That's good. Food is looking a little worrisome. We're in a little bit of a concern there for food. And we're also kind of a little short on water. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Unity's creeping up, though. Let's go ahead and time accelerate a bit here. Try and get through some of our construction processes here a little faster. Might very well need to build another farm here. We'll just have to see. Okay, so as we are racing around here, we see that our concrete plant is starting to take shape. We are definitely starting to accumulate some sand. Oh, that's right, I need to designate this for sand. All right, so now we got the sand here designated. We've officially hit low food supply. So we're not doing good on food. So let's go ahead and hit pause here real quick. I think what we're going to have to do is build another farm. Build more farms. Those of you out there that have ever played Warcraft 3 might remember that. Yeah, that's a game I should dust off for the channel someday. Good old Warcraft 3. Let's see here. I don't know if I want to build it right there, just because I'm worried about blocking myself in. So what to do, what to do. Well, I think it'll be okay. Go ahead and get that put in there. And that should go up fairly quick, because now we've got enough construction parts to support it. I definitely need to get into my automation more, because I have not been fully utilizing all of my resources here, as it were. By that token, I need to get some of these fancy pants construction parts in order to be able to, yeah, these yellow construction parts here. All right, so go ahead and get that started as well. Okay, let's see here. Well, potato, potato, green manure, potato. Get that rolling now. Irrigated farms should be coming here pretty soon. So once I have irrigated farms, that should also help my cause a wee bit. How are we doing over here? Oh, nice. So this is actually collecting water manually. Good. So we're actually producing concrete now. Good, good. All right. So I still want to get my automated transport built for all of this business, though. So let's go ahead and connect this. Well, build that. Oh, come on now. There we go. And then get that going. And then that'll at least take the trucks off from having to, and we're going to turn truck export off on this one. And then we'll assign water to that one. Now, did I assign water to my other fluid storage? I did. Okay. Okay. Hey, look at that. Our food supply is creeping up again. We're now back at 17 months. Okay. I think we're okay. Almost got another excavator up. That'll be good. I notice our Unity has dropped off. Wonder why we're at +0 per month. Huh. It's weird. Okay. All right. Well, our electric assembly is now complete. Let's go ahead and get that set up here for our construction parts 2. Looks like this is starting to hum along here. All right, there we go. Irrigated farms. Oof. Okay, so this is going to take a lot of construction parts too. So I think what that means is we will want to build another, at least one more electric assembly building. So let's go ahead and get that lined up here for us. So our output here is 8 concrete slabs, and this is taking 4. So yeah, we can support basically one I should say one concrete mixer can support 2 electric assembly buildings. So that is good news all around. All right, now how are we doing over here? All right, well, we're still keeping pace. Okay, and actually, I still have a little bit more slack in this sort of this infrastructure I've got built up here, because I can still, this one I hear still actually needs 2 more of these oil pumps to be able to fully support its output. So we're doing okay. We're doing okay. Do you need to select some research though? Let's take a look at our research. Let's go ahead and take a look at our ship dock repair. Yeah, let's get that started. So that is one of the things that I will eventually want to do, is start going out and exploring the map and, you know, oil exploration and everything else. So let's sort of see what we can get pushed through for that, eh? And look at that, we have our first fancy construction parts. So I want to do this. I want to build a conveyor from my sand storage. Wait a second here. Do I have this thing backwards? Ah, I do. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build it this way, because eventually what I want to have happen is I want to have a whole line of concrete here. Incompatible port at start. Well, that's interesting. I wonder why I can't build that way. All right, I've got something going on here. See, because this definitely shows I've got 2 sand inputs on the back of this concrete mixer, so I'm kind of curious as to why it's not letting me belt input that. Oh, that's because I'm building the wrong kind of belts. We actually wanted a different type of belt to connect our sand. That's why it's being not happy with me. Okay, well, we'll figure that out. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and start the upgrade process here. And we'll see about shifting our food production here. And we'll see if that gets us... We're still sort of fumbling around on low food supply, and I really don't want to run out of food. That would be bad. Turns out people tend to like to eat. Who would have thought, right? Okay, let's see if I can unhose myself up here. So I actually want this U-shaped conveyor, because sand, as it turns out, is a loose product. And we want the loose product style belt. All right. So anyway, as I was going to say, I'm basically building a single line here so that multiple concrete constructors can eventually tap off of it. Right, so this is going to continue out this way eventually, just like there'll be multiple concrete mixers eventually, and they'll all be receiving sand off that common belt. That's sort of the vision. We'll see if it works out. And look at that, we have another excavator. And believe it or not, I think we don't really need that excavator right this second. So we'll go ahead and put it over on the coal for now. Looks like we actually only need 1 truck there. So what I'm seeing is trucks that are... Now I wonder, let's see what happens now if I turn this off, right? I'm looking at just trying to conserve trees right now. And maybe I'll take, well, I don't know. I was just wondering to myself if I wanted to take some of the trucks that are harvesting trees off of tree harvesting duty such that they can go off and do other things, but I think we're okay for right now. Oh, cool, look at that. Here comes our sand, our first successful conveyor belt. Well, quick build that real quick, just for sake of argument, because I want to see it go in. And look at that, just as nice as you please. We now have our first sort of automated input here for our concrete mixer. Very nice, very nice. Okay. Once again, we're starting to creep back above our fuel requirement. This is slowly but surely starting to do its thing. Yeah, it really feels like we are still being bottlenecked a bit by our assembly thing here. 4, 4, and 4 in 20 seconds. Okay, I see. So the electric assembly buildings actually seem like the way to go. So let's go ahead. So what I was just looking at, I guess I should explain myself, right? So the electric assembly buildings, they have two recipes. They have the construction parts and construction parts 2, okay? For an electric assembly building, construction parts 1 takes 4 iron, 4 wood, producing 4 construction parts in 20 seconds. Compared to the manual assembly building, which takes the same inputs, 4 iron and 4 wood, but takes 30 seconds to build those 4 construction parts. So the electric assembly buildings are faster, more efficient, as you might expect. Now, the downside, of course, is they do consume electricity, but as we were just saying, we are sitting pretty good when it comes to our fuel supplies. So I'm not really too worried about electricity right now as far as not having enough supply. So I think what we do is we build a couple more electric assembly buildings and start trying to crank out both assembly parts 1 and assembly parts 2. Heck, let's go ahead and build another one. We have plenty of surplus workers right now, so I'm not really too worried about a workforce. And right now we're generating, let's see, that puts out 8, that puts out 8, and that's 8 in 40 seconds. So effectively 4 per 20 seconds. So looking at that, we might actually need to build another set of iron production here. Now that I've got actual coal up, I think I'm actually going to get rid of these coal makers. I think we can safely do away with those. The advantage of that is that I can now build 2 more of these blast furnaces. Missing input. I got iron ore. I got coal. Oh, okay, they were a little short on coal. Queues are a little high right now, but I think part of that is just due to the fact that I've queued up a lot of work. I think those queue times will come down as we go here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some blast furnaces going here. I'm actually going to rotate these around like so. Give myself a little bit of space here in between them. There's one. There's the other. Yep. So every 20 seconds they're kicking out 8 metal. Yep. So as before, 1 blast furnace can support 2 metal casters. So the next thing in is the metal casters. There's our metal caster. Because what all of this is about here is making sure that we are boosting our iron production a little bit here. Because we are definitely a little behind on our iron production. And this is effectively going to double it here. And this is, again, all in the service of trying to boost up our production of metal parts, construction parts, I should say. All right, let's go ahead and work our transport here. Our molten channels, get those all put in. And then we're going to have to connect our let's see here. I go, yeah, let's go ahead and elevate this like so, just to try and provide a little bit of a pass-through for our trucks. Gotta keep traffic patterns in mind here. And we should be able to hook up right like that. Okay. Oh, hey, look at this. We got a completed factory here. We're going to go ahead and actually set this one up for our basic construction parts 1. Food supply is good. Research complete. Irrigated farms. Yep, we knew that already. Wow. All right. So we are sort of humming right along here after some initial hiccups. Let's see here. I am maxed out. You know what I'm going to do while we're sort of hanging out here, waiting for some things to finish, is we need some storage. We're going to build some unit storage, and we're going to build a place where we can store some of our copper plates, because right now we have too many copper plates and nowhere for them to go. So we'll tell that to do its thing there. And then we'll have to build some conveyor belts here. There's one. And there's the other. Oh, that's right. I got distracted. I never hooked up the gas output from my other guy here. All right. Well, let's get some pipes going here. And just like before, we are going to give ourselves a little bit of an elevation change here, just so that we can make sure we have enough clearance for our trucks. And then, let's see here. We need to drop that back down. Sure. That should work just fine. I really gotta say, I'm feeling a bit better about this. I was a little worried at first, and I didn't like having to resort to, you know, save scumming a bit. I guess we can go ahead and tell this to start storing copper ahead of time. But yeah, definitely have picked up on a few things. And so first of all, I do want to extend a thank you to all the folks that have been offering tips and hints in the comments. I do appreciate that. It has been a big help. Some of that stuff, I think you and I out there have realized at about the same time that I was doing some things in a bit of a silly way. But in general, it has been very helpful. And there are some things that you mentioned that I would have not picked up on for quite a long time if you hadn't, you know, brought them to my attention. But you know, things like spending Unity to complete belts, making sure that we're taking our service deposits first before we dig down, that was a big help. The whole point about having enough fuel or oil pumps to fill up our fuel distillers, that was a good tip too. So all in all, I really appreciate all those tips, and sort of keep them coming as we go along here. Okay, look at that. We've got research complete. Ooh, look at this. All right, so I think we are probably going to go for the captain's office next. Let's we'll have to be careful because we're going to be looking at an increased amount of food production. Or, I'm sorry, consumption. So we'll have to be careful about that. So we'll go ahead and start that research. But we already know that we need to update and upgrade and improve our food production. And we're already into the process of working that. And granted, it's taking a little while to get our products here taken care of. And that's due largely to the fact that we are still sort of struggling on construction parts supply. Let's go ahead and unpause now that we've got a new research selected. But, you know, we're getting there. I wonder here. I can quick build some of this, but in all honesty, I recognize that I can do Unity expenditure to do some quick building. I'm hesitant to do that just because I don't want there to be a sort of a inadvertent consequence of not having enough Unity when I really need it, right? I'm kind of the mind that I want to save my Unity for, well, a rainy day, basically. And I'm just not sure if I'm really in a situation that calls for it. So I'm going to hold off here, and I'm just going to basically time select or time accelerate. So I want you to do some iron ore here. It's also going to be about time to start expanding our settlement. Oh, look at this, population overview. 30, yep. Okay. So I'm going to need to build a new population, a new housing block soon. And it looks like I've managed to successfully block myself in. I guess I probably should have paid more attention to that. So, what to do? Well, I think what we're going to do is, since this stuff here isn't quite complete yet anyway, is we're going to go ahead and dismantle this stuff. And I'm going to use that freed up space here to start putting in my settlement expansion. So I do need to have that available. Yeah. Well, we'll do it that way. Let's see here. I want you to build standard construction parts still. So once again, you know, we're being bottlenecked by construction parts. But, you know, that's understandable. I'm willing to sort of tolerate that in the short term in order to expand and consolidate our basic engineering or basic industrial infrastructure here. I think ultimately what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get rid of all of this here in order to keep making more room for more settlements. Might have to eventually reestablish my farming locations as well. But for now, I'm going to leave that as is. Really need to make sure I get my metal casting here up to snuff. Yeah. Well, also I think need to do is get some conveyors going for that. It's going to need to be U-shaped conveyor. So basically I'm going to, just like I was doing sort of a central supply line here, I want to do a central supply line for my coal. And that will greatly cut down on the amount of truck traffic I am having to spend just on coal transport. Come on, there we go. Oh, come on. Nope, I don't like that. Come on. There we go. Oops. And we will go ahead and suck up some Unity there just to get this quick build going. So that'll be good. Look at that. All right. How are we doing here? All right. I think if I can tap off my coal conveyor here for you and you, that will be a good thing. Okay, so I think we're getting close to the end of this video. We sort of got through our major hurdles here. We have got ourselves on a good track with food supply. We've got ourselves into good shape on our fuel. We are now up and running on producing concrete, and we are now producing our construction parts too, which is going to become a big help in the near future here as we continue to work on expanding our settlement. So for now, I'm going to leave it here. When we come back, I'm going to continue to work on getting production expanded here. We'll look at starting up our radio beacon again so we can start bringing some more people to the island, because we are now starting to reach the limits of who we have here on board. And then once all that's done, well, we'll see. We might be able to start working on getting our ship fixed up here soon. And but in the meantime, we need to get the shipyard repaired. So that'll probably be the big thing we start working towards next time, once we've gotten our construction parts 1 and 2 production sort of stabilized and in a good spot. So as always, thanks for watching. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And this is Ruckdog saying until next time, good luck and good hunting.